The air was thick with the smell of pine needles. Sunlight struggled to break through the dense canopy of leaves above. 10-year-old Billy loved exploring, but his mother had warned him about the forest. "It's a place of secrets," she'd said, "and not all of them are good." But Billy, filled with the spirit of adventure, couldn't resist. He crept past the garden gate and into the woods. Towering trees loomed over Billy, their branches twisted and gnarled. The forest floor was a carpet of soft moss and fallen leaves. Strange noises echoed through the woods. A twig snapped in the distance. Billy shivered, suddenly aware of how alone he was. He ventured deeper, the trees growing thicker, the light dimmer. He told himself it was exciting, but a knot of fear twisted in his stomach. Billy continued walking, captivated by the unfamiliar beauty surrounding him. He imagined the forest as a giant's garden filled with hidden treasures and magical creatures. He wished he had brought his magnifying glass and bug box. He pictured himself returning home with a collection of fascinating insects and stories of his daring adventure. Time slipped away as Billy explored, each turn promising a new discovery. He didn't realize how late it was getting until the sun began to dip below the horizon. Panic welled up inside him. He turned to retrace his steps, but every path looked the same. He was lost. Billy called out for his mother, but only silence answered him. Tears welled in his eyes. The forest seemed darker now, the shadows growing longer and more menacing. He imagined eyes watching him from the darkness, and the rustle of leaves sounded like whispers in the gathering gloom. He wished he had listened to his mother. He remembered his mother's stories of the mischievous sprites that lived in the forest, tricking travelers and leading them astray. He quickened his pace, hoping to find a way out before nightfall. Every shadow seemed to hold a hidden danger, and the once welcoming forest now felt like a trap. Suddenly, a flash of brilliant blue caught Billy's eye. A beautiful bird with feathers the color of the summer sky perched on a low-hanging branch. It tilted its head and looked at Billy with intelligent eyes. He had never seen a bird like it before. It began to sing, a melody so clear and pure that it calmed Billy's racing heart. As if understanding his plight, the bird hopped from branch to branch, leading Billy through the dense undergrowth. It flew ahead, then waited for him to catch up, its bright plumage a beacon in the fading light. Billy followed, his fear replaced by a glimmer of hope. The forest around him still seemed dark and mysterious, but the presence of the bird gave him comfort. Billy followed the bird deeper into the forest. He didn't understand where it was taking him, but he trusted it. As he walked, he noticed that the trees were starting to thin out. Light began to filter through the branches. Emerging from the trees, Billy gasped. He recognized the old oak tree at the edge of his family's property. The bluebird landed on a branch and sang one last time, a sweet farewell trill. Then, with a flick of its wings, it disappeared back into the forest. Billy ran towards home, his heart filled with relief and gratitude. He burst through the back door into his mother's arms. She hugged him tightly, her eyes filled with relief. "Don't you ever do that again," she scolded, but Billy could hear the love in her voice. He told her about his adventure, the fear, the helpful bird, and how he found his way home. That night, safe in his bed, Billy thought about his adventure. He'd been foolish to disobey his mother, but he had learned a valuable lesson about courage, kindness, and the magic that hides in unexpected places. He drifted off to sleep, the bluebird's song echoing in his dreams, a reminder of the day he got lost, but found his way home.